Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about this ImoLaza ET Master Smart Sprinkler Controller. Stay tuned. So I'm going to start with an unboxing, kind of show you what all's in here. Comes nicely packaged, lots of very well written instructions, extremely well written. And they give you instructions on how to install the software for your Android or Apple device. And we've got some tags here to help you label your wires, a very complete wiring diagram, and a mounting template. The device itself feels very well made. The nice heavy plastic, and it has a nice texture to the outside of it. You can pop the faceplate off here and see where you run your wires, which is very straightforward. And then, of course, on the back, you've got a place to run your screws for mounting it to the wall. The power supply is nice that you don't have to wire it in. It's a typical wall wart that will just plug in directly. And there's some additional paperwork if you have any trouble. It tells you not to return to the store because you can contact them and they'll help you out. Okay, so I'm going to be installing this guy right here, but first I have to remove the existing one. And the first thing you got to do there is unplug and make sure it's not plugged in. There's no juice going to it. I would pull that off. And I believe the first easy thing to do is going to be to actually label each one of these wires before we unscrew it from the wall. So I already got one off. Didn't have a camera on. Okay, so I'm starting to take off the existing wires to start, which is the best way to go, I think, before yanking it off the wall. And here's number one, and I just removed number two, so I'm going to make sure and label that, because the last thing I want to do is get these mixed up and then have to go out and manually figure out which one's which. Doesn't sound fun, and I don't want to be a part of that. So we're just going to go through all of these. We got 8 zones. And this is common right here. This white one is common. And so that's an easy one to remember, but I'm going to label it anyway. Nice to have these labeled anyway all the time. And then here is 7 and 8. Oh, barely on there. Surprised it worked. 7. Straightforward. It is. I'm not going to say simple yet until I get it completely done, but I think it's going to be, I actually think it's going to be good. All right. There we go. Now this should just come off of it. Wow, it's on there tight. We'll let off that hose. Pull these guys through. There we go. Right about there. Now this is where a electric screwdriver would come in handy. All right. Straight. Let's do one here. Get those done. Sorry, that. Very good. There's 2. Here's 2. Let me do some over. There we go. There. Good right. There we go. They're all connected. Let's plug this in. This guy. Look at that. All lit up. Look at that. Lid here. It's asking me to set up zones. So I'm going to do that by pressing this button here, and it says ready to go outside. Next, so I'm going to set up zone 1. If this zone is inactive, and click it. Okay. So it is inactive. First, let's test the zone. Okay. Test. Whoa. And there it goes. Zone 1 just came on. It's very, 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 very cool. Stop and next. Let's go ahead and name the zone. That's a good idea. Zone 1. Front. Flower beds. Sounds good. Next. Next. Oh, it's asking me the plant type. These are shrubs. This is really cool. Okay, well, I know what a shrub is. So it is shrubs. Root depth, crop coefficient. That's interesting information. And they are fixed spray heads, as it shows. Next. It is not loamy sand. It is definitely clay. It's clay. It gets lots of shade. Or I would actually say this area here gets mostly shade. Okay. Slope type, flat. Oh, square feet. I'll say 200 feet. 200 square feet. When the soil water content drops below a certain threshold value, water can no longer be, okay. Okay. I'm going to leave it at default with 50%. Let's go to the next zone, zone 2. Okay, let's test it out. Here we go, zone 2. Here we go. When you finish setting up initially, this is what the opening screen looks like. It gives you your temperatures and that sort of thing. And here's your schedules. This is going to have you set up a schedule for your yard. And you've got different types. You got a brand new grass, fixed schedule, and a smart schedule, which uses some intelligent weather models and algorithms to help take care of your yard in different zones appropriately. And here's where you can select which zones you want to water for the schedule. I'm going to select all. And from here you can select how long you want each zone to water when you have a fixed schedule. And I have various different ones here. And from here, you can select different kinds of smart cycles, like do you just want no cycle and soak, or do you want manual cycle and soak, or smart cycle and soak? I went for the smart cycle and soak. And also you can set up here where you can have it skip on different things, rain, freeze, wind. I have selected all of them. And then on your intervals, I am going to actually put it on a daily interval. And I'm going to put it on 3 days. Because right now we're going into the winter and I really don't plan on watering it that much. So I may even actually change this to 4 days. and then when do you want it to start and end. And I have it set to run starting today and indefinitely. And I want it to end before sunrise. As you can see here, I got an error because it's conflicting with a current schedule that I've already turned on when I was testing this, and it's actually running right now. You're also able to go in and edit your schedules later if you'd like to. So here you'll see where all your schedules are. You can see all the details there down below and a calendar up top. I forgot to mention that you can actually take pictures of the zones and place them on here. So now that you can actually have a visual of what your different zones are, you don't have to have them memorized. And here's the settings where you can go through and do quite a few things. You can have a standby, like if you don't want to water in the winter, you can schedule it to not water all winter long. Here's your history. It tells you what it's done. You know, pretty much everything there. You can set some alarms as well for different things. You can have it check for currents problems with your electricity or your valves. You can set up all kinds of additional ones here, as you can see. And there's a way to customize the buttons on the front of the device as well. Although I highly recommend using the app because it's so versatile and gives you so many more options and visualizations. Here, there's some additional information here if you want to set weather stations, if you have some advanced wiring terminals or a rain sensor, that sort of thing. You can set it up right here. I bet you can tell I'm pretty impressed with this. I cannot believe that I haven't had something like this sooner. And I know I'm going to enjoy this, and it's going to help me with my water bills especially. And just the modern features, being able to check it and change it remotely anywhere. I just can't highly recommend this enough. So it's the ImoLaza ET Master Smart Sprinkling Controller.